Hello, everyone. It's Charles Cherney, top realtor serving buyers and sellers in Cambridge and Somerville, Massachusetts. This is the Ask Charles Cherney series, and today's question is, what is the down payment? This is a question I often get from first-time buyers, and the short answer is the down payment is the amount you're not mortgaging. A simple example will help us better understand this straightforward concept. Let's say the sale price of the home you're purchasing is 500,000 and you're planning to put down 20%. The down payment is 20% of 500,000 or $100,000. So that means the loan amount is 80% or 400,000. So the down payment, the amount you're not mortgaging, is 100,000 in this example. The reason that this concept in Massachusetts can sometimes be confusing for a buyer, especially a first-time buyer, is the way in which the process of completing the transaction unfolds. So when you make an offer, you typically write a check for $1,000, which is known as the binder, which is submitted with the offer. And if the offer is accepted, the process of the transaction and the timeline to closing begins to unfold, where in short order, typically 7 to 10 days, the signed offer is replaced by the signed purchase and sale, which we call the P&S. And at that moment in the transaction, a second check is due, typically for 5% of the purchase price. So in this example of a $500,000 purchase price, the buyer is writing a check with the offer for $1,000. And if the offer is accepted and the transaction is proceeding, they're going to be writing a second check at the signing of the purchase and sale about a week later for, 5% of 500,000 is 25,000. And if they've written a first check for 1,000, the second check is going to be for 24,000. So this second check is what oftentimes people will think of as the down payment, as it's the big check due shortly after their offer is accepted. But if 1,000 is presented with the offer and 24,000 at the signing of the purchase and sale, and there's 25,000 in escrow, the buyer will still need to bring, in this example, 75,000 to closing to bring their full down payment amount to the table. Now, to add to the mix, if you're a cash buyer and you're not getting a loan, then you really don't have a down payment. But then you think to yourself, but I do. I have to write a check with the offer, typically 1,000, and a check with the signing of the purchase and sale. In this example, 24,000. So the true cash buyer will often think of their down payment as their deposit due at both offer and purchase and sale, those two numbers together. So in this example, the cash buyer might think of their down payment as 25,000 since they don't plan to get a mortgage. It's straightforward, it's simple, and yet in Massachusetts, because of the timeline and how it unfolds, it can be a little tricky, especially for a first-time buyer, to grasp the concept. That being said, you understand the purchase price and you have a realtor on your team who can answer your questions and explain the situation to you as the timeline of the transaction unfolds. Subscribe to this channel for more information about the real estate transaction and about Cambridge and Somerville. I'm Charles Cherney. Reach out at any time.